So I'm in the car and I'm here with Teal. He is not happy, and he knocked me in the head really good as I was trying to get him to the car. So I have a headache, but he is going to be castrated. Welcome to my little tropical farm. And this has taught me my lesson. I will make sure I castrate all of the males before they're 4 weeks old. He was the only one I didn't castrate. I could not get both his testicles in the band, so I gave up trying. The vet said as long as you get one and there's no more like sac, that they will be too hot up against the body to reproduce. But that's not foolproof. I do have one that I didn't castrate fully, it seems, and I'm gonna hope for the best with that one. I'm not gonna bother trying to catch him. Plus Teal is a bottle baby, so he was easier to catch, but not easy. But he's 10, almost 11 weeks old now. I'm gonna take him to the vet, and they're gonna use a different piece of equipment to castrate him. It should be a little better, but he's really unhappy. He's already pooed. I did put an old bath mat down in the crate, and I'm hoping most of the poo stays on that. But your guess is as good as mine. I'll let you know how it goes when we get out. Oh, it looks like we're gonna be stopped by cows up ahead as well. Oh well, it might be a long drive. Teal, say hello. And here are the cows. I hate when they make me stop in the water because I'm never sure if I'm going to continue to sink down in the mud. Let me just get out of the mud. Okay, now I'm on a dry spot. So I'll go by them very slowly. So we are almost back home, and he is not happy, the poor guy. He has been castrated. The vet gave him an anti-inflammatory and basically said at his age, the only real difference needed is the anti-inflammatory. And he gave me 2 syringes to give him anti-inflammatory for the next 2 days. So he'll get an injection tomorrow afternoon and Sunday afternoon, because today is Friday. But he's so unhappy. He's not even making any noise. He sat for a little while, and the vet said for the next few days he'll probably be sitting down more than normal, but that he's fine. So I feel bad. Next time I'm gonna definitely, besides the hassle of getting him in the car, getting him to the vet, I feel bad because he's probably in a lot more pain than the little guys were who were castrated at a much younger age. So we learn from our mistakes, hopefully, and next time I will castrate them all very young. So today I am trying to get a few things, small things done around the farm. I did just give Teal his shot of anti-inflammatory. He's so unhappy with me. This morning I put some iodine around the band so that he wouldn't have any issues, hopefully. And and now I'm going, so I have 2 broody hens again. One is a newly broody, but she's been sitting on a nest for like 4 or 5 days, because the door is broken, and when I tried to lock her in the room, she jumped up on the door and found a way out. So I'm now carrying a hammer, some, I don't know what they call these in English. They're grappas. They're little U-shaped like nails. And my fencing, and also a stapler, because I only have a few of the small nails. And we're gonna go down there. I should put these in a pocket. Here, give me a second. We're gonna go down there and try and fix the door. A quick update on the sheep as we walk by them. Here they are. You can see Red is doing really badly. I think I'm gonna have to call her in a few days. I tried everything to get her healthy, and nothing has worked. I was gonna have one more person come down and see her, and it's just not worth it at this point for her or for me. You know, I feel bad keeping her alive. I feel bad with the thought of culling her, but I think for the rest of the herd's sake, it makes sense to cull her. Here is one of her babies. That's Flame. He's my bottle baby, my biggest bottle baby. He and Teal are my bottle babies. And here's my fencing. So these fences were done, oh gosh, I think I showed you that on video a few months ago. And we're about to do 3 or 4 or 5 more fences. This one I painted just the other day. You have to paint it because where it's soldered, it'll rust. And the tank on the other side, let's see if I can show you that, it's all rusty. So I'm painting it with a non-corrosive paint, like a Rust-Oleum type paint. I need to clean this up a little, but it's just a fence, so it doesn't really matter. The rest looks pretty good. So I'll do this one next, probably this week. But I do need to, I bought just a little can of paint. I don't know what I was thinking. So I need to buy at least a gallon, if not a 5-gallon can of paint, because I have 5 more fences. So I think a gallon will, I probably need 2 gallons, but I probably don't need 5 gallons. So I'll do that next. That's my next project. Meanwhile, Ulysses is coming, I think 2 days this week. And he is going to do a couple of things. He's going to finish that back area for the dogs, which means putting up, I can show you that. Let me take you over there. We have redone the fence to the chickens and the ducks. They were missing a board or a sheet of zinc roofing all the way down, and so they were getting really wet. They weren't getting wet, and the ducks don't care, but the ducks area was getting really wet. It was really smelly, and so all this, I got 8 new panels, and this has all been redone. The ducks are very happy. The ducks are now coming and going as well. Their area is still quite wet. I'm not sure why. Maybe it just hasn't dried because it is raining, or there might be water coming in from the sides. There's water on that end because when I empty their water every night, I just dump it, and some of it stays there, some of it goes down into the chicken area. But anyway, here are the old roofing. There are holes in the roofing. You can see, well, these are actually nail holes, but there's also some where it's rusted through a little bit. But we're going to be using all of this for fencing along the bottom of the fence. I have at least 5 of these. I don't need it along this back one. There is some, but it's also got chain link. But we are going to, and some of you have heard some of this, but we're going to put a fence right here and probably eventually take down this fence back here and extend this whole aisle, because it's just a weird spot. So, and it's really wet over there. So we'll put a fence right here, and then this will all be done in the old roofing as a wall to keep the dogs in, because they go right under. Almost no matter how tight the barbed wire fencing is, they'll get under it. And if it's that tight, they'll just dig under it. They may still dig their way out, but I'm hoping that they can keep themselves busy in this area. It's a good area. So it's probably, each of these are 20 feet. So it's probably between 60 and 80 feet long and 25 to 30 feet wide. So my plan is to put them in here during the day, put them back in their kennel at night. This area, you can't really tell in the picture, is a little bit of a bump in the ground. So I'm going to buy a pallet, put the pallet there, put Bonnie's crate halves. We're going to take, Bonnie had a big giant plastic crate to fly out here, and she's never going to use it, and it doesn't fit in my car. So I'm going to break it down into the top half and the bottom half, and we're going to make them both bottoms. Put them over here, probably with blankets in them, put some posts, and put a tarp with the tarp angled down the back so any water runs off backwards. It also has this tree above it, so hopefully it'll get a little less water than the rest. Just in case they're out here and I'm not around and it starts to rain, it will keep them a little drier. They don't love the rain, but they don't hate the rain. I think my only dog that doesn't care about the rain at all is kind of Blanca. She'll go run around in the rain. And they will run around in the rain too, but they don't love it. So hopefully if I'm not around, it's daytime, we have a daytime storm, they'll have shelter there. And then ultimately, I need to get that shelter fixed. So right now, the sheep, as you saw, the sheep were sitting in the shade. So they have shade in all of their pastures, but they don't have shelter. So if it rains, I need to get them moved back to the shelter. But meanwhile, the shelter I have for them isn't quite big enough for all of them. They fit in it, but boy, it's gross in the morning. So I clean up all the poo, but it's really wet from urine. So I'm trying to keep them out of there during the day. They don't need to be in there if it's not raining. So, and ultimately I'd like to have a movable shelter move from pasture to pasture with them. Although right now my movable shelter is bigger than my gates are. So I'm working on that. That might be a long-term goal, but we're working on that. Okay, this is not going to be easy to do if all the chickens want to sit up here, especially the guy, the rooster, because like I said, he is not a friendly rooster. I got to get my knife out. Okay, you girls are going to have to either go in or out. Oh, one thing I didn't think about was the rope, so I'll have to work on that as well. Okay, lady. I think what I'm going to do is nail the top corners in, fix the rope through this, and then nail the bottom in. That's the plan. And then I'll staple the rest because I don't think I have enough grappa. Okay, enough of you. Enough from you is what I meant to say. Well, that didn't go in very well. And I'm sweating. but it went in. Okay. Screwed the bolt for the eye for the hook and eye back in over the fencing. I'm literally dripping with sweat right now. It is hot today. I want it to turn just a little more so I have it at the right angle. This would probably be easier after I cut the fence, but so the door has never been fully predator proof. There are certainly spots where snakes can get through, but not huge snakes, hopefully. Definitely rats can get in, but they don't tend to eat the chickens, just the eggs. And, but it's as good as it was, and it will keep the broody chickens in. So I've been hearing some thunder, which doesn't mean rain is coming anytime soon. It could be hours. It's sunny out, but there's some thunder. But I think I'm gonna pick up those 2 chickens and bring them in here and get them off the nests for now. And we'll leave everyone else outside. One of them did come in for the night because I took her off her nest and she freaked out and went running inside, or tried to go running inside. I had already put the door up. But she, I put the door down and she went running right in because it is their safe place. This is the one. So this is my mama who's given birth. I shouldn't say given birth because I guess they don't really give birth. But she has sat on nests twice, and I'd love for her to do it again, just not now. I'm probably, no. I'm probably about a month away from putting her on a nest or letting her sit on a nest. No, not a month. I'm probably a month away from starting to put the other chicks out. Maybe I'm a week away from starting to put the other chicks out. She is not happy. But let me get her sister. So chickens don't really love to be by themselves. Because they're prey animals, like all prey animals, they like to move in a group. I'm hoping the rooster doesn't come, because if they scream loud enough, he'll come running. And like I said, he's hurt me a few times. Oh, see, this one was sitting on an egg. I had just checked for eggs, so somebody had just laid it. She hasn't been sitting on it long. But she's much calmer when I pick her up, except she will jump. She's the one that jumps at the door and goes out. So this one's pissed now. This one will not jump at the door and try and leave. But it won't work anymore. So I'll show you what they used to do, what used to work for them. Look at the ducks. Ducks are like, what's going on over there? Okay, so what they used to do And you can see it pretty well. The door was not, this was not staying attached because it ripped up at the top up there. So they would literally jump onto these rungs and then jump out through the side. I will eventually take this down. I might just cut it here and cut it there and leave the ends up. But it's not hurting anything to stay there. But now they literally can't get out the door. And the door won't break as they walk on it because the mesh is on top of the wood. So something we didn't give a lot of thought to when we put it up. I think our thinking was put it under the slats so that they could mostly walk on the slats. But it didn't make a bit of difference. And when they walked on the mesh fencing, they were too heavy for it and they just broke it. So this should be better for me to keep the broody hens from staying broody. The one that I put in there first, usually within 2 days, she's done being broody. And the other one, I have no idea, it's her first time being broody. My gray one takes like 5 days of putting her in the room and off the nest for her to stop being broody. So for those of you that don't know, I did get this question asked last time, but they didn't ask in the comments. But what does broody mean? That means they want to sit on a nest. They want to hatch eggs. So they stop laying when they're broody, which I have more eggs than I know what to do with, so that wouldn't be a problem. But they stop laying, but they also pretty much stop eating and drinking. They get off the nest about once a day for a short time to eat and drink. So they lose their conditioning, and it's just not healthy for them to do all the time. Typically, they would have babies to take care of, although these these chickens over in the other area, which are almost full grown, are this first one's babies. So, but I do take them away because there's just too much in there. That, like I said, I have seen a rat in there. I think I said that earlier. And haven't caught him. I saw his tail as he scooted out. But he would get the chicks for sure. So I take them away, put them in the brooder, and put the brooder in the house until they're big enough. I really just a week or two in the house. And then I put them outside separately from the chicks. And then what I'll do is I'll probably start next week, this week or next week. I'll clip their wings and I'll open their door. I don't know, for those of you that are new here, they have a small ramp, not as big as the other one, but they have a small ramp that we put into their room right back there. And I'll open that up and they'll be able to go out. And when I do that, I may call the rooster. Now, he'll probably be okay with them being outside, but he's a pretty aggressive rooster. So I'll probably just go ahead and cull him pretty close to when I start putting them out. And I have, I think, 4 roosters here. 1, 2, 3, and that one I think is a rooster, that one. Where I'm pointing doesn't always correlate to where the camera looks like I'm pointing, but I'm pretty sure that's a rooster. That's a rooster, that's a rooster, and that's a rooster. So I have 5 hens and 4 roosters in here. I will, as they start maturing, pick the best rooster. I'm stuck in here right now, that's not ideal. There. I'll pick what I think is the best rooster. Now, in the case of the last one, I picked the best looking. And the fact that I had put everyone together before I called the roosters, and he immediately befriended all the ladies in the other room, so I kept him, even though I knew he was kind of nasty. He was not the friendliest rooster. So this time, because it's really made it difficult for me to go in there at times, and he's bitten me twice, this time I will put more stock into who is the friendliest rooster in the bunch, and we'll look at that. I am gonna go back inside, cool myself off a little, at least have another drink of water, and figure out what my next project is. And I have no idea. I had something in mind. Oh, I was gonna weed the pasture where the sheep are now eating. So they've been in there for 4 days. I figured they've got a few more days in there, although today was the first day where they didn't go straight into that pasture. So when I opened up that pasture to get them in there, I put in alfalfa and I closed the door. Yesterday they went straight in there again. I think yesterday was day 3, maybe it was day 2. They went straight in there, I'm not sure. They went straight in there, I think it was day 3, and the last 2 days they went straight in there. Today they didn't go straight in there. Some came over here, some went over there, and they wandered around, but within an hour they went into the pasture. And they're now eating bark off the trees, which isn't ideal, but not the end of the world either, I don't think. I don't think they'll kill the trees, but I think I've got to pull a lot of the weeds so that they can get at more of the grass. But now I'm already starting to see what they're not eating, although I kind of already knew that, but I can see what they're not eating. And it's pretty much the few items that I knew they weren't eating, but it's much more visible in there now, so I'm going to start pulling that. And I think I'm going to continue to put them in there for a few more days for a couple of reasons. One, it keeps them out of their shelter, and as I mentioned earlier, their shelter's not big enough for them to use the bathroom in there, to pee and poop in there, both daytime and nighttime. Even nighttime, with all of them, it's a bit much. It gets really dirty, and it's probably not ideal for them. So if I can keep them out of there during the day, that's helpful at least. But I've got to balance keeping them out of the shelter and keeping them from killing all the trees, because the trees right now are their shade. So we'll see. But for now, the plan is to give them a few more days in that area before moving them to probably the field right behind them that we closed up. Or I'm not sure. I'm not sure which I'll do. I've got a few days to decide. So quick update, Teal is doing well. He had his 3rd shot and he seems fine. He's actually seemed fine the whole time. That's probably Flame you could hear in the background screaming. I am trying to wean them. It's not going as well as it could, but it's fine. They're getting still a full bottle in the morning, and that's all they probably should be getting, but they're getting about 150 milliliters at night. I've cut it way back. I think tonight or tomorrow night they won't get a nighttime bottle. And so they are both being weaned. I also wanted to wait a little bit because I didn't want to make it too tough on Teal while he was dealing with the pain of his castration. So, and an update on Red. She is pretty much the same. She's still here. She's not getting worse. I actually think her eyes might be getting a little better, but with her, we've had one day it seems a little better, and then the next day it's back to where it was. So we're gonna see what we can do. She's been much better about letting me put stuff on her. So tonight I'm gonna wash down her ears, try and get all that medication off, and start over fresh. The guy at the agrovet recommended I do that and then put a little bit of the paste he gave me into her ear again and see if that helps. So we're going to try that, and we'll let you know next week how they are both doing. I don't think there'll be any big updates on Teal. I think he's fine. But hopefully we'll have good news on Red. I'm still trying everything I can, so we'll see. But that's it for this week. Have a great week, and please, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up If you want to follow along, please subscribe and hit the bell so that you're notified when our next video comes out. We'll see you next week. Bye.